Good morning, students. I wanted to work through this worksheet, our assignment today, this add and subtract integers. These are one-step word problem equations. So what I want to do is just kind of go through this page here, set up the equations for you, talk through it a little bit, and then allow you a chance to actually solve them. I will provide the answers a little later so you can check your work, but I want to at least set up the equations for you so you can get started because we haven't done word problems yet. So let's look at the first one. It says Natalie buys organic almonds priced at $77 from the grocery store. How much did she pay the cashier if she received $23 in change? So I'm going to jump back and forth to the ladybug here to show my work and the worksheet. So she bought some almonds. They were $77. And what she got back was $23 in change. Okay? So she started with an unknown amount of money. We're going to call that X. And then when she walked in the store, she had X amount of money. And then she bought $77 worth of almonds. So we subtract 77 from that amount that she started with, and she was left with $23. So from here, you would solve this equation. And remember, you need to do the opposite operation on both sides to solve for x. So that's the equation for number one. Let's look at number two. Number two says, Laura and May participated in a quiz contest. They scored 23 points in all. So altogether, they scored 23 points. If Laura scored 9 points, how many points did May score? So we know altogether they scored 23 points. And if Laura scored 9 points, we would add that to how many points May scored to get a total of 23. So I'm going to use M for May's amount of points because we don't know that, right? We don't know how many points May scored, okay? And what we do know is that Laura scored, she scored 9 points. So we're going to add 9 to May's score, and they had a total of 23 points. So that's going to equal 23. So May's points plus Laura's points equals 23 points. That's the equation for number two. So let's look at number three. It says John was gifted a pack of crayons. He gave 13 crayons to his friends Ree and was left with 11 crayons. How many crayons did the pack contain? So he started with a box of crayons, and he gave 13 to his friend. What kind of math word is gave? What does that sound like? If you give something away, you're subtracting it, right? So he gave 13 crayons. So he starts with an amount of crayons. We don't know how many were in the box, so I'm going to use C. And then he gives away 13 to his friend. So I'm going to take away 13 from what he starts with. And after he gives away those 13, he's left with 11. So that's the end amount. That's the total that he's left with. Okay? So that's going to equal 11. So we don't know how many he starts with, but we know that he gives away, so subtract 13, and he's left with a total of 11. Okay? Let's look at number four. Number four says, Smith and his friends are gaming online on a popular website. An hour later, 6 friends go offline. 5 of them continue playing. How many of them were gaming online initially? And initially is a word that means at the start. So how much did they start with? Okay. So his friends are gaming online. An hour later, 6 friends go offline. They leave. What kind of word is that, to go offline or to leave? Aren't they subtracting from the initial group? It sounds like it. So that's a subtracting word. And this one's kind of tough because this number 5 is in word form, so don't miss that. Okay? So we don't know how many they start with. I'm going to use X. We don't know how many they start with, how many people were playing, so I'm going to use X. And then after an hour, 6 friends leave. So I'm going to take away 6 because they leave the website. And then after they leave, there's only 5 left playing. So there's an unknown number to start, and then we take away 6, and we're left with 5 kids left playing on the website. Okay? All right, last one. Let's look at number 5. It says, Trevor takes up a test. He takes a test at school and completes it in an hour. The test has 2 sections. If he takes 35 minutes to complete the first section, how much time does he have left to complete the second section? Now, this is kind of a tricky one too because they tell us in an hour, but then they're talking about minutes down here. So we have to first know how many minutes are in an hour. So how many minutes are in an hour? That's right, 60. So there's 60 minutes in an hour. Okay, so that's what he starts with. He starts with 60. And the test has 2 sections. So he takes 35 minutes to complete the first section. And how much time does he have left to complete the second section? Okay, so let's look at this one. We can do this one a couple different ways. We know that there's 2 sections, and we know that the first section took him 35 minutes, okay? So we can do it this way. We can say we don't know how long it'll take him to do the second section, but we know that if we add 35 minutes, that's how long it took him to do the first section. That's going to be a total of 60 minutes, right? You can also do this another way. You can just say it starts with 60 minutes is how long he has to take it. And we would take away the 35 minutes that he took on the first section, and that would tell us how much time he has left for the last section. But really, with algebra, when we solve this equation here, this is what we're going to do anyway, which we're going to subtract 35. Okay? So let's use this equation to solve this problem. All right. So I've set up the equations for you. There's 5 problems on this worksheet. I've set up all the equations for you. But now you need to go through on a piece of paper. You'll want to write these down and you'll solve them. Just a reminder, you want to draw your line down from the equal sign. And you want to look at the operation on the side with the variable and do the opposite operation on both sides. So let's just do the first one together. If I am subtracting 77, the opposite of subtract 77 is add 77. And I'm going to do that on both sides. On this side, they cancel out. So I'm going to bring down my x. And 23 plus 77. And again, please be using a calculator if you have one. If not, you can use a phone or the calculator on your computer. But 7 plus 3 is 10. Carry the 1. And 7 plus 2 is 9 plus 1 is 100. Okay, so that means he started with $100, spent $77, and got change for 23. Okay, this is our final answer. So you do the rest, solve for the variable, and then please take a picture of this sheet for me and email it to me so I know that you're done. And don't forget, email me with questions.